Welcome. My name is Carmen Irizarry. I am the 7th and 8th grade teacher, and I am also the High School Readiness Coordinator in St. Veronica's IMS. And you're listening to the Strong Minds, Loving Hearts podcast. I'm joined by Evelin from Cristo Rey.
My name is Evelin Roman. I'm Director of Admissions and Family Engagement at Cristo Rey, Philadelphia High School.
So when is too early to think about high school? Right? So I know that for us here at St. Veronica's, we started really organizing ourselves and getting the word out starting 5th grade. Just because of the transition, here what we do is once they get to 5th grade, they actually go to the 3rd floor. And it's more like a sort of a junior high school kind of thing, you know, as they're moving forward. And it's time to get them to start being serious. Attendance comes into issue moving forward because that's something that you guys really look into, you know. Obviously, parent participation. So letting them know out there from the beginning, 5th grade, guess what? It's time to start looking. Time for you guys to start doing your homework. Start going out to these open houses, finding out what school they would like to go to, right? And then obviously their parents in mind, you know, because most of the time the hardship's going to fall on the parents in the sense of they're paying tuition. But that in mind, obviously thinking of where their kids would want to be, because I think it's a huge difference when a student is where they want to be in something that they chose to be in, or chose to be at, I should say. So yeah, what do you think? Yeah.
I agree with that. I believe 5th grade is a good starting point.
Right.
For many reasons. I think K through 5th, you build on those good habits, attendance, good grades, doing your homework, the habits at home, parent engagement in many ways, whether it's through PTO or volunteering at school events.
Right, yeah.
But I think 5th grade, once that grade begins, you start to say, okay, this is not only to create habits, but these habits are created because now you're starting middle school.
Right.
And it is that transitional time.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And it's good that you have not only the increase up in grade, but also like physically you're moving to a different part of the school. So now it is like a junior high. And with that comes responsibility, but knowing that you are working toward a tangible. And then you see your siblings, you see other graduates come to visit in their high school uniform. You start hearing about the high school fairs. Yes. You get invited to the high school fairs to see that what you're doing now, 5th, rising to 6th, 7th, and 8th, right. Really 7th grade is really the major bulk of what most schools look at. Yeah. You know that you're going to be, those things are going to determine what high school you go to.
Right, yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
And to have parents walk with you that journey is important because it's practice on what's to come.
Yeah, exactly. The support
absolutely
is something that's necessary. Yeah. And not only building on what you just said, but obviously coming from the background of the parents coming in and they're realizing 7th grade, wait a minute, they start hearing it from their own kids, you know, 5th and 6th grade. Wait a minute. Well, mom, you know, 7th grade has their high school visitation. That's a whole day that the 7th grade isn't there. You guys have that option. A lot of archdiocesan schools do that. But, you know, just going back and forth on that and just realizing that it's time to start, you know, researching.
To look at what high schools ask for, right? A good high school is going to really focus on not just grades, attendance, behavior, those habits that will make you a strong candidate. And I think parents also need to look into what other criteria, not just the grades, the standardized testing is important.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that is really emphasized moving on from in the younger grades, but it does make a difference to see those grades, those scores match up to a letter grade. There is a gap.
Yes, definitely.
And that existing gap is where the school needs to identify early on to see, okay, what sort of supports can we provide for the student? But parents to understand that this is just the beginning. A lot of the things that the students do and parents do in the application process in high school are just really, and it's overwhelming. You know it is.
Definitely.
But it is a leadway or a pathway to what are you going to expect when you start applying for college? Because the school that you will definitely set your eyes on and accept as the high school.
Right.
That's the high school that's going to prepare you for college.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
I
it's like a
often tell
gateway.
parents, absolutely, I give them the impact report. And I said, this is just a fancy way of saying, this is our report card. But you should be asking all the high schools at these high school fairs the questions that are answered here.
Right.
You know, what is their high school graduation rate? What is their college acceptance rate? What sort of supports do they provide to the family after they leave?
Yes.
I know that St. Veronica's kids can come back here to St. Veronica's for help. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that Cristo Rey kids can come back to Cristo Rey for help. And for that matter, all independent mission schools and outside schools too. I know our top schools like Young Scholars, West Oak Lane, they have very similar programs that students feel at home. And parents, they resonate with that. And we try to parallel, that's what we try to do at Cristo Rey, is to build that community.
Exactly.
So parents could feel, okay, I can answer these questions. If I don't have an answer to it, I can ask whether it's Miss Evelin or Miss Santiago, or come back to Miss Carmen, and they will be able to answer for me.
Right.
So yeah, definitely I think 5th grade is a good starting point. Not saying that K through 4th grade isn't, because
Right.
those are building blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
But thinking about what good habits to form in middle school, that those are the things that are going to deciding factors. Attendance, like you said earlier, that's a strong indicator of a student's success in high school. So
exactly. And also adding to that, there's one thing that I usually tell my students is I obviously feel that here, especially with you guys in Cristo Rey, you guys are changing lives. You know, it's not only going to affect the student that's going to be going to your school or any school of their choice, right? But high school of their choice. But it's also impactful to their families. It could change the whole direction of a family, because you get into good high school, you could get into great college, and then change the aspect of, you know, you want to go back, stay home, and help your parents out. You know what I mean? So it all works out in the sense of, this is what we're doing to change lives. I think this is one of the reasons why I want to be here in St. Veronica's, to give back to my community. Same as you know, just as well. So
very true.
Yeah.
I've met so many parents that have said, because I saw my kid doing so well, working so hard, it inspired me to go back to school, whether to learn English or to get their GED, to go back to college. I have, and I think you remember the story I shared at the summit about that family. I mean, that is, Bianca Salcedo is one of our first graduates at Cristo Rey. Her mother is now a real estate agent. You know, her sister graduated from Paul VI in Haddonfield, New Jersey. I mean, this is a family who, first generation from Dominican Republic, spoke very little to no English, and now they're thriving. And mom said that when I saw her working so hard, it motivated me to do better. I could do better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that it changes that, from what you said about changing lives, it does, you know. And I tell many students that Cristo Rey is such a different model. It's such a unique model.
It is, yeah.
Outside of the college prep, outside of the work study, I think the culture itself that builds to family, it builds to future, you know, that there is an opportunity, that you can achieve it.
Yes, yeah,
you know, and
definitely.
we believe in you. I think when parents come in, and I get this a lot, that it's just a different feeling. It's like coming here.
Right.
It's like, you know, you feel like you're walking home.
Yes, and we've heard that many times.
And I think when parents get that, to me, it's like they're here.
Right.
You know, and I say, you accept our offer, it's not a 4-year offer. This is an 8-year commitment to you.
Yes.
And when you're done, when you graduated from college, come back and inspire another student, another family. That, you know, it's not easy. I never say, oh, it's a piece of cake. You're guaranteed it's work.
Yes.
It's true work.
But if you're willing to work,
absolutely.
Then you'll be able to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's definitely what we want to support.
Yes.
For
definitely.
Sure.
For sure. So tell me a little bit of what the High School Readiness Program looks like at IMS.
Right. So the High School Readiness Program, one high school coordinator is represented in every school that we have. So it's one per 15 schools. And then what we do is we prepare the kids. And that goes from, I know that what we do here in St. Veronica's, and that's across the board. Let's say the summer packet that they take home for the summer to just make sure that they continue to grow. We've added a packet for the high school placement test that they're going to take as soon as they come back in September. We have our math teacher here, Mr. O'Neill, who goes into math, goes into algebra, goes into all those things that we may not be able to give them and really focus on during the year. He does that. And we do that in the beginning and the ending of the previous year before they take it. And then we do that right in the beginning as soon as they come back. So they come back in August and we pick up exactly where we left off. Another thing that we do to help the kids is bring you guys in. We have you guys come in. Some want to, and they don't, some have the time and they're able to focus on 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and present what you guys have, what you guys are doing, your programs, extracurricular activities, their sports, because, of course, a lot of people like to hear about the sports. A lot of our students do. And they're just building it forward. And they come back twice a year. So they come usually they come in the fall, and then they'll come again in the springtime. That's something else that we do. Something else that we do is getting this information out. So we have our director, which is Jose Gonzalez. He's the director for IMS for high school readiness. What he does is he implements putting out this high school weekly admissions sheet that he does every week, where all the high schools are on there, all the open houses, all the tests, anything that you could think of, scholarships. I mean, he's out there putting all this in. He sends it to us, and we either put it on Class Dojo, Google Classroom, different, media forms, and getting this information to our parents. I know that for applications, that's something totally different. A lot of our parents, I know for St. Veronica's, they're bilingual. So we try to have an application high school night, which we try to do before the deadline. So my deadline is December the 1st. That's my deadline.
Okay.
So my deadline, I would like to have all of my students at least completed with their application, completed with anything that they need, any of their transcripts, any of their information, their interviews, their shadows, whatever it is, all this information is out there already, at least one. So my goal is to have, or our goal is to have, I say my goal, but our goal is to have at least 4 high schools before they're accepted or not, and get all this work out. And there's so much more. I mean, there's different schools. Gonzo is willing to come. I know that if we have an application with a parent that is still missing some information, Gonzo will not mind. We'll set up an interview. We'll set up time for him to come out and help these parents complete these FACTS applications, the Clarity applications, because the Clarity, they're asking for basically everything, right? And they want to make sure you have all this documentation. And that's something else that we try to do in 7th grade. I know Gonzo comes out here, and Gonzo and I in the spring, we meet with the parents of the incoming 8th grade class. And we tell them, listen, you need to get this birth certificate, you need to get this report card or whatever it is or may have you. We try to get all this information together so that moving forward it's an easier process for these parents.
I know that we ask for a lot. I know our application is a little different from most. So today, December 1st, is the early application deadline for Cristo Rey.
Yes, it is.
And we were just doing a filter before I left to come here. Some families believe that just submitting the application itself is the application.
Exactly.
They never go back to check the email that gives you a checklist.
Yes.
And many people ask, but why do you ask for so much? Well, because we only have 150 seats. It's not only for the student that academically is fit for the school, but also be employable. Just every student has to work.
And that's it right there.
And I think, we also interview the family. So there is an alignment process that has to happen for us to select. Right now, as of today, we have received over 540 applications.
So 540 applications for how many spots?
150.
Exactly, 150.
The goal is, well, I know, in order for us to achieve, because these are like admissions at Cristo Rey Philadelphia goals. We want to be able to balance our class, gender balance our class. We also want to increase our Latino population, our Asian population. And in order to do that, I need to just cast the net out and get as many applications as possible. And within those applications, select the students that are academically fit and also have the desire, motivation to attend a school that they have to work one day a week.
And financially also, right?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to forget that. So, so that is in itself a challenge. Because out of those applicants, I would say a third will not be financially eligible. And that is a requirement that is set by the network, the Cristo Rey network. Another one of the factors is age. You have to be 14.
Right.
And then we have flags in place in the system that flag the student if their birthday falls behind a certain date. And then come grades, behavior, attendance, and it trickles down. So the funnel begins this big and it filters down. And it is. I mean, last year we accepted 161 maybe. And we did register the 150.
Wow.
And there wasn't much of a wait list because by that point, by the time June comes around, most students decide where they're going to go.
Yeah.
You do have lingering ones that ask, whether or not, but it's after the fact. Like, we have the summer bridge program.
Yes.
So that is a mandatory piece that many students, not that they forget, but parents plan vacations, they plan events, and this is something that is mandatory. And again, another question, why is it mandatory? It's because we want every student to transition well into school, to get to know the Cristo Rey culture, to find out what the work-study program is about. We do, not a summer packet, but those are 2 weeks of summer reading and math. They do take a MAP test to see what level they're in. And then we take it from there. But it's a good opportunity. One, they've gotten to know their teachers, they've gotten to know their peers and get a
socialization.
The lay of the land of the school and how to wear your uniform and what is it like to work as a 14-year-old out in corporate America. That's important.
And how do you set up those jobs? Like, do you guys
Good question, So it all begins with the admissions process. As you know, part of the last part of the admissions process is an interview.
Right.
So the parents are interviewed, students are interviewed from admissions, and that interview is more of a, what are your habits? How do you challenge yourself? What are some goals that you've given yourself? How did you accomplish them? When you're challenged, whether it's academically or socially, what is your go-to? What do you normally do? Parents are asked similar questions about their student. How is your student outside of the classroom? Maybe in a sports sense or clubs or anything like that. But more again to establish what are some of those describing features of the student's ability outside of the school and in the classroom that could really pretty much pinpoint communication styles. How do they, what is that called, troubleshooting, problem solutions, that type of thing. Then they're also interviewed by the work study team. And now that team is looking for extra, outside of the box scenarios that we talk about. If your boss gives you a task that you really weren't familiar with, what would you do? That's a fair question. Some students might sit on it. Some students might just say, actually, I would ask, Or if you've been given instructions to complete an assignment or a task and you sort of like blanked out and, okay, I don't know. Do you ask for help? Do you advocate for yourself and say, okay, I really didn't get it. Can you teach me again? So things like that.
Like role playing,
that's a little bit of that.
Different scenarios,
Different scenarios, but also, again, communication skills, ability to engage in a conversation. It's not so much a question-answer question. It's more of a dialogue. And we give each student a prep sheet. And that prep sheet is not to give you answers of what to say, but it's pretty much, these are the areas that we want to talk about. How do you envision yourself at Cristo Rey? What do you envision yourself doing here? A lot of students, they are like in student government, or they're altar servers, or they're captain of their basketball, and they bring that and say, I want to continue that here. Or I've been doing cheer. I want to continue doing cheer here. So those are the types of things that they're asked. Now, as far as assigning, that happens during summer bridge. Some of that, the bulk of it happens then. Because the students are you're being observed for how do you work independently? How do you work in a team? They're using the rubric that we provided for the admissions process. More or less your communication, your writing skills, your ability to problem solve. Those are good indicators of where we have a selection of job sites. And these job sites are, again, for 9th and 10th graders. These are entry-level positions because we want to just ease you into what it's like to working in a corporate workforce with adults. So yes, it could be entry level, meaning you're going to probably be doing data entry. You will probably be given maybe organizational tasks of organizing a library of documents. Or I know some of the students from Virtual Hospital in New Jersey,
Okay.
Abril Nunez, she was, her job was to pack the utensils used for surgeries.
Wow.
As a ninth grader.
Right.
That is, I think,
Amazing.
yes, she loved it.
That's amazing.
I mean,
yeah.
And she's working in a sterile environment. She's working with nurses and specialists in this area. So, of course, yes, attention to detail is important. You have to
Yes,
be alert, be
definitely.
on your feet.
Yeah.
Listening skills. Being able to say, okay, what is steps 1 through 5? I missed them. I got the last 5, but I don't know the first 5, you know. Like being able to say
Right,
that.
yes.
I think that's important. So those are things, skills, and details that we look at during summer bridge. Now, come the beginning of the school year, again, business literacy is part of a ninth grader's course.
Right.
So this is continuing professional development throughout. So we understand that initially it's going to take some time for the student to be able to ease in and get those soft and hard skills under their belt, but it will happen. And it's amazing to see a student start in September, to look at them now in October, November. They're totally different.
Yeah.
Their sense of confidence, self-esteem, of ownership, of like,
Definitely.
yeah, I actually, I love this. And don't get me wrong, you get the ones like, I really thought I wanted to be an accountant.
But
No, I don't want to
don't.
do this. This is boring.
But that's what it's for,
Yeah, that's
right?
what it's for too.
Exactly, yeah.
So another myth or misconception some parents and students have is like, if I said at the interview, I want to be a nurse, that you're automatically going to be placed at a hospital. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Maybe you're still working on some skills that you don't yet possess at the placement that we have at the hospital. So we build you up to get you to where you want to be. And I guess just to be honest and to be transparent, after COVID, the corporate landscape has changed.
Yeah.
So, and this is not a Cristo Rey Philly just our thing, but I think in general, a lot of places have changed because of remote work.
Yeah.
And just, I think it's fair for our students, if it were to happen, that we would keep some students back to brush up on those skills.
Right.
Not a bad thing.
Right.
I think Portia Foster, she's our vice president of work study.
Okay.
She is starting our certification program for students to be certified, whether it's Google or Microsoft.
Okay.
I think that's something that can build up on a student's ability to walk into a space and say, I know that program.
That's awesome.
I did
That's
that
amazing.
last year, you know, although I didn't work, but this is what I was doing.
Right.
So that's some of the things that we do to find out a student's placement. I know you asked me that originally. I hope I answered
Yeah,
it.
you did.
But that's
Yeah.
in addition to.
Right.
That's what happens freshman and sophomore year. Our formative years, so junior and senior year, yes. The student, they do amazing things.
And the summer program, do you guys go somewhere, or is it at the school itself?
Is at the school.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
We do take the kids to visit colleges.
Right.
Like college is the mindset. That's from me coming into the classroom. One of the very first questions I ask, how many of you already know what college you want to go to? You want to stay in Philly? You want to stay, Pennsylvania, tri-state area? Do you want to go across the country? Where do you want to do? And they raise their hands. Okay, what are you doing to get there? So we want our students, our summer bridge students, let's just take you to a big college. Let's take you to a small one. I think that's to see yourself outside in a space, very much like the work study program.
Right.
It's like, wow, I never thought I'd be working at the Comcast building, or I never thought I'd be, sitting in a classroom at Villanova, thinking about
definitely.
this could be it. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing. One of the reasons why a lot of our kids, and me, obviously, I love Cristo Rey is because of the fact that you guys make it feel as though it is a home. And I know that for my kids here at Veronica's, we're only, eighth grade is about the biggest class I've ever had, I think, was maybe 24 students. And going from something so small, with some of them have been here for 9 years by the time they graduate, going into a school like yours, and then you have that summer program where you're transitioning them, where they're getting, they're meeting new people, meeting their staff, meeting the teachers, meeting their group of peers, is a great way to transition them. So thank you for always doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
I always hear when my kids come back, Jasmine was here, a couple of days ago, and she, you could see the confidence in her and how she's adjusting so well. This is her sophomore year, and she's loving it. So you could see it, and I'm so glad for her. I'm so happy for her.
It didn't surprise me she made the cover.
Right. No,
it did not. She walked in like,
and she's proud of that cover.
Yes, absolutely, as she should be. Yes.
Yeah, she's very proud of this cover. Yeah, this is an amazing. Yeah.
She's a sophomore.
Yes, she is a sophomore.
And you would talk to her, and it's like, you could probably run the school.
Right. Oh yeah, she tries to come into class like, miss, no. So it's amazing. A lot of our families, especially my principal, Miss Muller, Diane Muller, that's one of the things that I'm so proud of work for the principal that she is and the person that she is, because this is a family atmosphere. As soon as you walk through that door, everybody that comes through that door is family. Even if it's today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, you will always be family, and they know that. And they know they can always reach back and say, Mr. O'Neill, this math problem, or this, I'm having difficulty with this, I'm having difficulty with that, or even our science teacher, Miss Caramano, or any other teachers, just to come in and say hi. It's a great, it's a great support for them, and I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Tell me, what do you do as initially to draw your parents and get them engaged?
So one of the things that I do, obviously I'm from the neighborhood, right? I've told you I was born and raised in North Philadelphia. So I first talked to them as though I remember when my parents were in this predicament, in this position, and how they felt, and how they had no idea, no clue, first generation going off to college and everything else. So in difficulty, and putting them in just being as real and transparent as I could. This is not only going to affect your child, this is something that's going to affect you. And I need you to be willing, and I need you to work with me. If you work with me, anything is possible. Wherever they want to go, right? Anything is possible. I'm here to work with you as a team. And that's not only me. That comes from all of us. Because, we have teacher recommendations. We have to look for all this type of paperwork, and all these things. And that has to do with the principal, the vice principal, the other teachers as well. So this is, joint, right? It's a team that we do here together with the parents. And another way that I am available to my parents as much as I can, and I try to make sure that I am willing to be open with them and, let them know, listen, I need this and I need that. And it's also preparing them from 5th grade. I'm starting to prepare them for 5th grade.
Early, yeah.
Yeah, so this is my expectations. If you want your daughter or your son to go here, then this is the expectations that need to be had. They need to be here. Good. They need to participate. They need to get involved. They need to be part of the community, even if that's the church, whatever it is. So getting all those things together. But that's one of the reasons why I think my parents, are always so willing. And also because we've been blessed, right? I could say my parents are amazing and they're wonderful. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So definitely. But yeah.
When you asked the question earlier about what gets me excited, when I meet families and we share stories, like your why. I know my why, like how I got here, right? And I know in my family, college wasn't a part of the dinner conversation.
Right. Exactly. It wasn't even a conversation during dinner.
Ningún. Listen, my mother,
right.
My dad graduated from high school. My mom went to 8th grade. And when we left the Virgin Islands, my mom was making $3.35 an hour. And my dad had just been laid off from Hess.
Wow.
So there was yes, we didn't have a mortgage or anything like that, but to eat, right?
Yeah.
And my mom, this opportunity came to my dad to work as a roofer in Camden, and he left for about 8 to 9 months.
Right.
And he's like, okay, let's try this. Let's do something.
Right.
And making $15 an hour.
Yeah.
We were rich. We were like, wow,
Definitely.
So when I look at my families and they share with me those stories about their why.
Right. Same as me. We can relate to them and they can relate to us.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
is what's important.
Yeah.
And then that's where the trust is built. Right? They trust in us. Like I say to them, I'm gonna love your children like they were my own. Right? And that builds on the relationship. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. We relate to them and they relate to us, and they understand how important it is. Yeah. And a lot of them come to us and a lot of them say, I have nothing else to give them but the best education that I possibly can. Absolutely. If I have to sacrifice 3 jobs, then I will work 3 jobs. You know what I mean? So that's what it is too. So yeah.
And we meet them where they're at.
Exactly.
I think that's important. Listen, to have this 7th grade visit day, if we have to come, we'll work it.
Right.
Work it somehow that the parents can be a part of it too.
Exactly.
Because I think when they come into the building and see, wow, this is for my kid, this is for us. Yes, this was built here. John McConnell, I remember this very quick story about how he hired a college student to walk the streets of Philadelphia to find an empty lot to build a school. He didn't hire a realtor, a young man to walk around and find a lot. And he found that lot. And there's a beautiful picture of John walking that lot. And it was, filled with trash and high bushes and this and the third. It was in the middle. A lot of people that I visit, it's like, where? 17th and Allegheny. Right. Yeah, that's where we are. That's exactly where we are. Because we want our families, our neighborhood to see this beautiful, magnificent building that was built for your children. This is an opportunity for you.
Right, definitely.
Right here in your backyard.
Exactly.
You can come here. Yeah. And this is what you need to do, but this is an option. At the end of the day, it's all about options, having a choice.
Yes.
And I think coming from a K through 8 IMS school or a charter school that, like you said earlier, feels like home. Like you would love your children, your students as if they were your own. That's our teachers are like that.
Right.
I know Flan. She was the first admissions person at Cristo Rey, and and she just left us as our principal, and she loves our students, and Liz Blessing, our new principal, our teachers are very much the same way that you're. Right. So they leave here going to that. Right. And exactly. Absolutely, they're like, okay, yeah, I know this. I know this feeling. They really do love me. Yeah, so exciting.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. So we were saying about IMS. So what's the percentage of IMS students now?
Funny you said that.
I just saw your text.
Yes, 24% of our 9th grade class is from independent mission schools.
That's amazing.
Yes, an increase from last year. It was 20% last year.
That's awesome. That's
so
amazing.
That is a work in progress. I think parents can see and hear and feel when you tell them that is a good option for your student. Yes. If your student gets accepted elsewhere with the full ride, yes, that's awesome too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So if you have that option and you think that's a good fit for your family, absolutely take it. This is another option for a family, and I think. The difference is, and I always tell this when I go to high school fairs, I'm not in competition with anyone because this is so different, right?
Right.
It's not, and again, it's not for all.
Right. Definitely, it's
not for all. But know that while you're a part of us, you say yes to our yes. Know that you will not regret it. That there is a purpose, there is a meaning, there is a why behind everything that we do. Everything that we do, there's a why to it. And your child will learn that, yes, you will be loved, you will be challenged, you will be held accountable. I want you to hold us accountable.
Right.
That's something that adults, and I think in this world that we live in, will come in handy. Accountability is important. And I think when parents feel that, when they hear that, and they start seeing it in their student, coming home, talking about work, talking about what they learned, joining a sport. Right now, our student life is a robust programming of whether it's retreats and sports. We have 518 students, and over 300 of them participate in some sport or club.
Wow, that's awesome.
And there's something always happening at Cristo Rey. Mm-hmm. The robotics club, they're there on the weekends, and I have to send you that flyer because they're having their Saturdays. Yes, they just had on the 22nd, they had their first workshop. But they'll have more, yeah. But yes, it's an important part of this is what it would be like when you leave Cristo Rey. We have students that come back in college right now, and they're part of the BSU. They're running things. They're doing because it's normal. Mm-hmm. This is what we did at home, And we'll start it now. If you don't have an anime club, we'll start one.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah. And it's a good way for them to stay involved and continue to give back.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that's amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here with me.
Oh, thank
taking
you.
the time
Absolutely.
for accompanying me
I
today.
love coming to St. Veronica's.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it
You're
feels like
always welcome.
home.
Always
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Always.
I think
Tu
we should
casa.
do this more often.
You think so?
Yeah, we should make this a monthly thing.
A segment, right?
A segment. That's a word. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good one, right?
Yes. Good.
Exactly. Well, thank you again. I appreciate
Absolutely.
your time.
Thank
you.
everyone
Thank you being here.
for listening too. And
Yes.
any questions, they can always reach out to Cristo Rey, admissions@crphs.org.
Right. Any questions for us as well for IMS, right?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Thank you.